What's going on? It's time to talk about another film review. Time to do another film review. So today we're gonna do an '80s like thriller. It's not really a horror film, but it's like a psychological thriller. It's David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. Now, David Cronenberg's one of my favorite one of my all-time favorite directors. And yeah, so it was released September 23rd, 1988. And it was directed by David Cronenberg. Who's, if you're not sure who that is, he's the one who did like The Fly, the 1986 remake, Videodrome, Crash, Scanners, A History of Violence, Naked Lunch. I'll just name a few. He's done like 40 films. And it had a box office earning of about $14 million. That's like a modest success back then. So Dead Ringers is the story of two twins who are socially awkward and stuff, and they grow up to become gynecologists. They're really into like female anatomy and stuff, and they become very successful, and it's starting to take a toll on them, especially one of the twins who ends up um, basically doing drugs, trying to cope with all like the stresses of the job and dealing with it all. And in the midst of this, they meet a young woman who has three uteruses, I think it was, and so she's like a mutant basically. And so one of them tries to the more competent one tries to get his way with her and do it. And then when things don't work out, he gives him lets her his twin brother, they're identical twins too, get involved, and he gets emotionally involved, falls in love, and she realizes that they're not the same person. She gets mad and stuff, and then he takes his drug habit into high gear, doing like heroin and falling into a deep depression and mind altering state. And it gets to the point where they get um, it's basically a character study into how twins react with each other and stuff, and how they cope with it, and how to their uh, deal with like their emotions and help each other out through it. And it also sort of explores the one when one gets hurt, the other one can feel it, things like that. And it's really interesting to see that play on screen in this dark setting, and the way they portray it. It was all played by one actor, and they had to do a couple different shots for each one. So that's a big test to an actor's credibility. All the acting in this film is really well done. There's not very many special effects. It's very low key on the bodily horror aspect of it. It's more meant for you to visualize it and stuff. Because David Cronenberg actually has a medical degree, so when he does this film and stuff, he tries to be as medically accurate as possible for the most part. So yeah, that's also one reason why I really like him, and I find his films more compelling, is because there's always that aspect of him trying to be as realistic as possible and putting as much in camera as possible. So that's one thing that's really good about his type of films. This is definitely way different than some of his other works. It's very there's only like one or two scenes where it's actually you actually get to see some like weird bodily disfigurement almost, and it's more about the psychological aspect of the twins. And this one was really well put together. It is quite a slow burn though, so if you're not a fan of slow burn movies and you want to see a lot of action and stuff, this isn't for you. But if you like good psychological horror, such as like Silence of the Lambs and things like that, this one might be up your alley too. And also if you like David Cronenberg, like Naked Lunch and stuff like that, it's sort of in that vein. So it's definitely worth a good checking out. It's one of those '80s ones that's been part of the revival of the horror '80s horror recently and stuff. So it was definitely good to finally check it out and see it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of my uh, better films I've watched in the last while. So yeah, so yeah, there's not much else to it. I don't have any complaints for the most part. It is a little, it gets to be pretty slow in some scenes, but I love the way the characters and the way it's written and everything like that was really well put together. Everything goes cohesively. I kind of wish there was more, a little bit bodily horror or more to like the surgery scene in it and that, but for the most part, it is still a really good film. For those negatives and stuff, I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5. It's pretty pretty good, pretty well written in, just a decent watch. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. There's a trailer link down below, like always. So if you want to check out what I'm talking about, if you haven't heard of it, or if you just want to relive it or something, check it out down below. I know Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray, so I should probably hunt that down and get it for my collection. But yeah, yeah. So that was what I thought about Dead Ringers. Definitely really good. It's also streaming on Shudder right now, so not sponsored by them or anything. It's one of the spots you can find it. So yeah, check out the trailer down below. Also, while you're down there, check out my Instagram where I always post clips of films going to be in the future on my story, and I usually have the film title in a hashtag and put the subgenre of film in a hashtag in the video clip, so you're aware of it. So follow me on Instagram to stay in the loop. Like this video, share it somewhere people are aware of it, and make this one an even bigger classic, hopefully. And yeah, so yeah, do that. Comment your opinions of this film down below if you've seen it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, if you have any films that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, whether they're horror or whatever, I'll watch anything. Comment them down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And that's also if I can find them. So, yeah. And don't forget to subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to talk about next, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next in my next video. So, we'll see when that happens. So, till then, yeah, hopefully you don't run into any crazy gynecologist twins, and I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So, cheers.